Consider what it'd be like to capture the chaos, the magic, and even the boring parts of everyday life, but in a way that feels cool enough to be read out loud at your funeral. Ever since I started keeping a simple record of my life, I noticed that I have a lot less self-doubt, I'm a lot less anxious, and I actually feel like I have some sort of control over my life. And honestly, I think anyone can feel like this too. So in this video, I'm gonna go through some journal entries from exactly a year ago to share how documenting my life has improved my confidence, my ability to manage what I can control, and even my happiness.
Damn.
I'm so pumped right now, like my heart is like pounding out of my chest.
I can't stop smiling.
I can hardly believe like the coincidental stuff in here, and the nice part is I didn't put much effort into documenting my life at all. For starters, April is the first month where I actually showed the process of setting up a month in my journal here on YouTube. I've linked that video if you're interested in seeing that, but one of the most unexpected coincidences, which had very little thought put into it at the time, is this astronaut sticker. This will make sense later, so I'll come back to its significance. On the next page, I logged in when I qualified to start making money on YouTube. This is arguably one of the hardest stages to reach when you first start a channel. Capturing these moments has given me valuable perspective on my progress toward my goals. Even now, when I look at this milestone, I kind of want to giggle at it because it just seems so small now. I typically don't sift through my journals just to look back at my milestones, but giving them a full page of significance also allows the blank page to catch my attention when I'm looking for other stuff, which ends up being kind of like a pleasant surprise that gives me a lot of internal motivation to keep going. There's another milestone I recorded in this month that's coming up in a few pages, and that one is even more significant to me because of what I'm going through now. And the thing is, these things don't have to be crazy achievements. There was even a time where I recorded Matt Diavella following me on Instagram. LOL. I think a lot of people undervalue the power of keeping track of our success. I mean, our brains are literally hardwired to mostly remember the bad stuff in life because it's simply a survival mechanism. I'm actually considering starting a mini journal just to collect my wins, especially for the days when I feel like I'm behind in life or lacking confidence to do hard things. But I have to admit, hitting this YouTube milestone ended up being pretty bittersweet shortly after. And this is when my journal came in handy for reducing my anxiety and managing what I can control. So before I recorded this monetization milestone, I had been watching other smaller YouTubers talk about their monetization journey, how much they were making, and how it was all worth it, and I was so pumped to be on the other side with them. I waited for days for my application to the YouTube partnership program to get approved, and then when it did, I immediately went to check my expected earnings for the month. Literal cents. Are you f***ing kidding me? This was a pretty rude awakening, seeing as I've spent hours and hours of my free time on top of my full-time job at the time to create content in hopes to make this a viable option as a career. But it turns out that there are tons of variables that go into how much you make, and I watched a lot of my favorite YouTubers sacrifice their mental health to try to control all of these variables. Yikes. This realization felt like I had finally made it to Disneyland, but all the rides suck, and everyone in the park is just miserable. And seeing my potential earnings for a month come out to less than $1 while watching my favorite YouTubers vent about the aftermath of constant anxiety for every upload was a clear sign that I needed to figure something else out. And honestly, I kind of felt embarrassed about it. So I studied the interwebs and brainstormed alternatives in my journal that I could have more control over while still exercising my values around independence, creativity, and growth. The resounding advice was to start a business, but the problem was I didn't feel qualified to sell anything to anyone when I had like 2,000 subscribers at the time. But then I thought to myself, if this were easy, what would it look like? And behold, in less than a page of brainstorming, I landed on the idea to start selling stickers. It was affordable, I already loved stickers, and I could realistically do this alongside my full-time job. Plus, out of 2,000 people, one of them would buy a sticker, right?
Look at all these orders.
Using my journal to process my thoughts forced me to look inside myself for a solution, because it was super easy for me to get caught up in seeing other people's success and then just feeling like shit. It sounds so simple, but focusing on my own problems without the influence of others made it way easier for me to use my own insights to figure out what I wanted to do to control my situation. I found that whenever I solely looked to the internet to help with my solution, I always reached a point where I just wanted to live someone else's story instead of just working on mine. And being able to process my own problems and come up with my own solutions also made me feel really self-sufficient, and seeing this evidence in my journal just adds to the momentum of revisiting milestones. The next 2 pages in here were part of an exercise that my life coach had me do to help me find my values. I talked about this in another video that I also linked, but basically, I took the time to figure out what sort of characteristics really mattered to me. I think I already had a pretty good grasp on what this was when I landed on the sticker idea, but doing this afterward just validated my decision to commit to trying something new. And it also made everything feel more meaningful. And it also solidified my why to help keep me on track with my goals and handled a ton of self-doubt. If I knew that something I wanted to do was going to involve these values, it not only made it more exciting, but also easier and more fulfilling. Starting a business with stickers has been so fun, and it was so surprising to see how much value it actually brought to other people. And this gave me the confidence to try bigger things. So before I show you this last milestone from last year, I want to share that I've taken the leap into creating my first digital online product. A 90-minute workshop that teaches people how to start using your journals in the ways that I've shared in this video and more. But remember that astronaut sticker that I was talking about earlier? So in the creation of this workshop, I spontaneously made a new chill sticker to complement a joke I made in the promotional video for my workshop. And here's what it looks like. What a coincidence! It has been so scary, in all honesty, creating this workshop, but the little things in my journal, like this astronaut sticker from a year ago, feels like an insane foreshadowing of events, and it made a lot of things feel right. And I only realized this like a day before I uploaded this video. And to top it off, the day that I plan to release this video also falls on the same exact date from when my very first set of stickers came in. I literally can't make this shit up. Documenting my life in my journal has not only changed my life, but looking back at this stuff just really makes me appreciate the little moments when I have no idea how this stuff is gonna play out in my own story. When I started this series of sharing my entries from a year ago to help other people, I never thought that making these connections would have this much of an impact on my own life. And don't even get me started on all the fun and super inspiring conversations I've been having behind the scenes with my subscribers on my newsletter. I've even started collecting little inbox wins in a folder for that too. Whew. I'm so pumped right now, my heart is pounding out of my chest. Whew. So anyway, if you're interested in the workshop, I've linked more info below along with the other videos that I mentioned earlier, but otherwise, if you want to see a video version of me documenting my YouTube journey in its fetus phase, watch here. TTYL. My heart's still going crazy. Checking my pulse. Chill out. Oh man, this is definitely a fave.